Okay, preparing. And hello, welcome to In Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. I'm James Lott Jr. And I have a great guest today. She has a new single out tomorrow. And I was privy to the video. I was able to hear the song. I love the song. It's called The Ceiling. The Ceiling, folks. And she's out, and she's a singer-songwriter. We're going to talk and find out more about her. I'm following her on Instagram now, and I like the pictures and stuff. Miss Sadie Cannon. Hi, Sadie.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, girl. So I always have to ask everybody, just this weird time period, how are you doing?
Honestly, it's crazy for me because I'm such an extrovert. And so when everything hit, that was such a huge adjustment. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have so much like social energy. And now I could like sit in my house for days and be like, nothing but a thing, which is like I've never been someone to stay at home. And so now it's just, I feel like I'm just adapted and I'm like, it is what it is. And you know what? When things I feel like are going to gradually get normal and I'm going to be grateful as they adjust and happen.
Well, you know what's so exciting? Like, she has a new single coming out tomorrow, the 16th, called The Ceiling. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it's a good song. As a person who releases music too, my fans know this. Usually there's a whole thing that happens along with the release. I mean, you go make some appearances somewhere, you may perform it somewhere, a little different. So what are you trying to do with this release? I know it's a weird time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very media driven, everything. I'm learning a lot about how to branch onto other socials and just growing my platform in other ways. Obviously, TikTok's been huge. Everyone's talking about it and like Triller and Reels. And so I've become a very good video editor. In this
okay, go on, girl. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've just been like editing media and just reaching out to a lot of old friends and trying to keep in touch with as many people as possible. It's hard to like cram into such a small period of time, but hating socials, that's been the big thing. I feel like it's just all about like digital presence because there's no way to really like in person connect right now. And it's been crazy.
Yeah, very smart because we've had to all kind of pivot to this mostly all digital platform now. I mean, normally you would be in a studio with me, we'd be talking next to each other, yucking it up, but we're on Zoom. I mean, so you have to do now. And there's IG, of course, and IG Reels and TikTok and Twitter and Facebook Lives. And we've had, as artists, we've had to really figure this out, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's such a media game. It always was a part of the game, but then you could do shows and a lot of in-person stuff or have events and spread the word that way. But now it's like it's online. That's what's happening. Digital is what's happening. So just really hitting that hard and just re-editing a lot of media to fit all the different platforms and trying to keep it interesting, trying to keep it exciting. And yeah,
I'm going to be promoting it tomorrow. I promoted the one thing already. I'll be promoting when it comes out. I'll be out there. How do you view social media? I mean, there's this going on, of course, but were you a person who was heavily on social media before, or are you kind of like it's necessary evil? Like, how do you view it?
Yeah, so I've been a big social media person since I was a kid. I started my Instagram in like 2012, and I was it's funny because my family would make fun of me and they'd be like, why are you always trying to take pictures? Why are you always on your phone? Like they didn't get it. And now it's like, this paid off in the long run, you see. So I've always been big on media. I've had to get better at different types, and short form video content is something that's just you have to know how to do now. I feel like I compare it a lot to when everyone was on Facebook and then Instagram became big and it was so much about photo editing. I'm like, well, now like the kids, the next generation, it's all about short form video editing, and that's going to be like the next. And so I've always been big on media. I feel like as an artist, media was one of my more stronger suits. And so it's been like, it's unfortunate that 2020 happened, but I'm like, okay, well, at least as an artist, media is something that I know and I can keep making work. Though I am excited for performances and I would definitely like to work that muscle again and have all that fun. But I like media. I understand the dangers of it, and I think everyone should. It's important to, but just like everything in life, there is a danger. So just keeping it safe. Be aware. Yeah.
I agree with that. I do. I mean, I saw you can bend media on social media to your will. You can do whatever you want with it. You can follow who you want, not follow who you want. I mean, like, there are things you can do. I mean, yes, it's a little crazy sometimes, but it's free. It's free advertising. It's free. I mean, it's literally free. You don't have to pay for nothing. On the old days, you had to pay for ad space and this and that and the other. Here, it's just like, here it is.
Yeah. I get scared. I try to like long shot a lot. And I mean, there are ads and things you can do now, but I'm like, what you're going to become? Is there going to become a threshold with having social media, like people having to pay for it? These are things that I think about because it's like when I feel like whenever you start seeing it go that way, it's like eventually in a couple years, it just completely goes that way. And like now you can pay for ad space on social media and it's more present. Ads, like my Instagram feed, I'm scrolling through. I'm like, why are there so many ads? I'm here to see my friends. Like, what's going on? So it's becoming such a marketplace as much as it is like us trying to keep up with our friends. And it's crazy.
You know, it is. But it's still the parts of it that are free. You can actually, you don't want to do the ads. You can still do your best. And you have close to 10,000 followers. So Homegirl's working it out. So your stuff, you can tell it's organic. You work it out. And I think it's good because you're actually, talking to your fans directly who know who you are and know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You like that. The Ceiling. Okay, kids. So The Ceiling. Describe the song. Because I know I have your press release, but I want to hear you describe your new song.
Yeah. So I wrote it about before COVID ever happened because I just moved from Florida out to Los Angeles. And though the city's booming and popping, you realize there's a lot more alone time than usual because it is harder to get together with people. And so it's like, oh, I could, drive 30 minutes, pay for parking, walk like 15 minutes, or I could just FaceTime this person, so.
Very LA of you. Yes. Very LA. Yes.
So I was like, dang, it's a little, and I would mainly see people like if I was going out and partying, that's kind of like when I'd catch up with a lot of people. I was like, dang, during the week, like I don't really see people unless like I like go to work or something. And I was like, dang, like there's a lot of times where it's like whether I'm working on something where I'm just like, oh, I just want to hang out with somebody instead. And so but then again, I would still choose to stay out in LA, still choose to work. So in the end, it's like I would rather have a dream than something I can touch. And at the time I was kind of talking to a dude who lived back in Nashville where I lived for a little bit. And it's like, oh man, I got to get this done. Or I could like FaceTime him, or maybe I should plan a trip to Nashville. Then I was like, no, girl, like you're out here for a reason. Like you're focused on the dream and that's what you've chosen is this like new reality. So that's kind of the whole encompassment of like, I don't want this to end. Like I want like the pain of chasing the dream to end sometimes, but it's like, I don't really want it to end. Like instead I'll keep fighting through to make it work because it's like what I want more than the relationship. And I don't have the relationship anymore. We don't talk anymore. So it was a good choice.
It was a good choice. Go on, girl. You're smart. But the thing is, I know what you mean. It's like, it's when you're moving on your way up and it's very exciting when you're building it. And like, you have these little victories. It's so exciting when you have these victories. And you're seeing things change and it's getting bigger and it's being bigger and you're building, you're doing it yourself. You're doing it like you're doing it. So it's like the accomplishments that happen. It's exciting. You don't want it to end on some level, but then you do at some level. You're kind of like, yeah, hopefully I get to a point where I'm good. I can kind of, work it out. But then it's also like, this is the fun part. This is kind of the exciting part.
Yeah.
Each new thing is exciting. Right?
It's the things that you stress about the most that always I feel like are the most rewarding. And yeah, like the baby steps the whole time, you're just like, oh, I just want to be there already. But you're never going to feel like you're there because as soon as you get something, you're like, I just want the next thing now. Now that that's over, the next and the next.
Yes.
That's like a big thing about this song. It's like this whole thing. It's like you keep hunting and searching. And it's like you kind of have to appreciate the moment sometimes, keep pushing yourself to go forward. But yeah, the whole back and forth of like, I'm chasing it and wanting it, but it seems so intangible and like keep seeking the intangible kind of vibe. So I started like, actually it's funny because the session that we had for it, I had 3 different songs. And this one was like the one that I thought was like the least, like the weakest of the bunch too. And then the producer was like, oh man,
of course.
And I was like, what? And so it was like the third one. I thought the other 2 songs were so strong. And then he was like, nah, I like that third one. And I was like, when I'm in the writing room, I'm all about getting another opinion because sometimes if you're too by yourself, you're only making something you like, not that everybody would like. So
I agree.
yeah, so then we sent it back and forth. I wrote a good portion of it, like looking at the galaxy light that I have, just like staring at the ceiling, and that's literally how it came to be.
I love that. Well, you talk about, I mean, they have you talking about where you believe in recognizing the truth with them. I'm very much an inward person. It all begins and ends with you. I always say that. I had a song that actually said it all begins and ends with you. I mean, it really starts with you. And I feel like the more you learn and dig for the truth, the better you will be in general in life. I mean, just because you'll be more open and you'll be more accepting and more present and more. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. I feel like it really does all begin with you. And a lot of times, like, you're your own biggest enemy and don't even realize it. And I feel like that was a big thing. I feel like everyone in COVID kind of realized all the things that were just them. And I realized
Yes.
how much like reactions like fueled me. And I was like, okay, well, also that's part of being an entertainer too. You just love
Yes.
reactions and like, such a big storyteller. I'm so loud at the bar, always talking to people. I love people thinking I'm funny all the time. And so I'm like, dang, I have nobody to tell my jokes to. Like, this is so rough. So, but big inner work. Like the last 2 months, my roommate's been out of town, and there's so many. I feel like in life, there's so many things like, oh, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, or you blame an exterior force on why you're not getting to it. In the last 2 months alone, I was like, Sadie, literally, there's no obstacle. There's no obstacle right now between you and the skills you want to develop. And I feel like that was another thing that COVID really made us realize. It's that like it so many people, I feel like, oh, I'll get to it. And it was a time where it's like, well, we have more time to get to it. Obviously, the goals getting there can look a little different because resources aren't what they usually were with things being shut down.
Yeah.
But I feel like it made a lot of people like really dig to their truth. And like, I know I've gone over the past, thought over the past more than ever in my entire life, and forgiven a lot of those situations in the past. Because a one big like kind of philosophy that I feel like I had recently was like, everybody who's like affected you in some way in the past, they're not even that person anymore. We've all learned. And I feel like as I reintroduce people into my life in a post-COVID world where it's all acceptable and okay, it's like everyone has a clean slate with me now because I've personally forgiven them. And I feel like that's back to the self-worth and the truth. It's like, if you believe like everyone's on good terms with you and you're present, it's a happy life. So yeah, there's this. I think somewhere in the spiel that was answered.
Oh, it's great. It's a great answer, Sadie. I love that. I think there is something about forgiving yourself first, and then in turn you'll forgive others because we're hardest. Like you said, we're hardest on ourselves. We get in our own way all the time. I have my friends, get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. Like seriously. And as entertainers, as performers, as creators, a lot of times we're seeking perfection, and there is no perfection. Obviously, it's not there. We're waiting for the right time, or is this the right time? Or oh my God, we do that anyway as just creators. That's us. That's not the public's not saying you don't do it. No one's saying Sadie, don't release that song, The Ceiling, on the 16th of February. No one's saying that. You may say it to yourself, well, should I release on the 16th? But it's like, no, it's us. A lot of times it's our inner voice saying stuff. We have to like let that go. So I agree with everything you just said.
One thing that I try to repeat to myself to kind of get over the obstacles, if I should or if I shouldn't, I'm like, right now, this is presenting how good you are now, and there's more time to come, and we're going to show even better in the future. But what I was releasing 2 years ago versus what I'm putting out now is like a whole world, even like down to the content of change. So that's like, for that obstacle, it's like, okay, Sadie, this is how good you are now. And if you don't put out something now, no one's going to even know you're doing it. So it's like,
right.
You're sitting in your room. Like,
right. People want content right now. They do. People are starving for content. Because I was going to release a song, and I was like, I'm scared to, they're like, James, will anybody care? It's COVID. Like, they will, because they're looking for new music and new books and new TV shows, and they want new stuff. They want new stuff. Give it to them. Give it to them.
And I feel like content creators are definitely stronger than ever because TV production's kind of down too. And so it's like content creation is especially like, that's the newest stuff, is what these other influencers and creators are making, versus like TV shows and movies aren't really, new stuff's not being put out.
Very true. Very true. Describe your sound. for this latest song? So describe your sound.
So it's definitely it's in 6/8. It's R&B electronic is kind of where my sound is right now. It's got a lot of soul. I like electronic influence because in college I was there when the EDM thing was really popping. I went to the University of Florida for 2 years, and every frat house was bumping EDM. That's like when Sorry Justin Bieber was out. And
yeah.
everybody, you'd walk down front row, every house had that beaming coming out of it. So I love electronic stuff. I always have loved electronic influence on. I feel like it just brings a lot of driving energy, a lot of danceability. Though this isn't a super fist pumpy dancey song. It's definitely like a smooth gliding song. I love 7 chords. I love relaxing music. I feel like I'm a big fitness person too, so I'm like, this is a good yoga song. If we're trying to categorize it, I'm like, ooh, this is yoga.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I liked your vocal to the. I want to get super technical on here, but I did like your vocal and the key you were singing in to the music. I thought it was matched perfectly to me. It was so good. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I have a deep alto voice, so a big goal for me to show. I was like, let's try to go high and low and really try to show it off, because I don't have a high ranged voice, but there is still range. It's just lower than like an Ariana Grande. So I was like, well, let's like take a moment to kind of showcase it. And so I really appreciate that. So it makes you feel like, I did something right there. So I appreciate it.
But no, I'll share with you. So I have a song that'll be coming out this year called Lost and Found, where I sang in a slightly different key myself. My producer was like, let's go because I have a deep bass voice. I mean, it's just, you can hear it. It's like, so I knew in your voice, I was like, she could do probably smoky something. I already got Oregon ideas, know what you can do possibly. But he challenged me to sing in a slightly higher key. So it's funny you said that. There is range, even in the lower register, there is range. I didn't really know that. I thought it was just, it's this and this, and that's it. He showed me, and the song is really good. I'm really proud of the song. It's coming out later this year. But it was like, it forced me to kind of go in a slightly, and I was nervous, but I trusted we trust our producers. And I said, okay, I'll just do it. And he pushed me He's like, JJ's a little higher. I'm like, and it turned out fine. But I never knew there was a range from that lower register. There was a low, and there actually is a range that I didn't realize. I know it's still technical stuff, but.
You hear the belt and you're like, oh, that's what makes people's voices so awesome. Because I grew up like idolizing like Demi Lovato, and like everyone loves Ariana Grande, or like Carrie Underwood, the girl from Glee who could belt. And I would always go into voice lessons with these belty songs, and I was like, dang, like, am I a bad singer because I can't hit that same high note as them? But then once you learn about range, and that everyone has a different range, like Dua Lipa, she has a very low voice too. And so so I've grown to like idolize more of those people and seeing like belters versus people who can riff. Like riffing is also really cool, and a lot of people don't think about it as much, but that's so awesome when you can do all the runs and the notes. And that's a lot of not only what brought me to R&B, because I've always loved R&B music, but my voice is a very much an R&B voice. And so learning that definitely helped direct my sound and like where the songs should start going. Yeah.
Your voice is, I can tell, even just talking to you, I can tell it's like, okay, she's that direction. Yeah. Because seriously, so if they look at you just from looking at you, they may think she's some poppy girl. It's happy go, joy music. And it's like, but no, she has deeper stuff going on in there. Can't judge a book by its cover, right? So how do you deal with that stuff? How do you deal with image versus this is who I really am kind of thing?
That is a really good question, because it's funny because I feel like I get from like my Instagram to who I am as a person, because like my background is growing up, like I was in a magnet program. I'm like a huge nerd, and then people speak to me as if there's like nothing going on in there, and I'm just like, you understand I'm educated, correct? But it's hard. I mean, it is, because like that's even like when I first started, and like people would hand me songs that were really like ditzy, I was like, no, like I already, like I'm a blonde already, like it's already a big obstacle for me to like prove to people that I'm not just like, like empty-headed. And so it's definitely a divide, and I'm glad that you brought it up actually, because it is an obstacle that I face, because people think, oh, just because like she posts cute pictures on Instagram or like dresses in pink, like she doesn't seem like she's that smart. And sometimes I get like mansplained spoken to like that. I'm like, we can have an equal level conversation. Like
Thank you.
Yeah, so I appreciate you bringing that up, but I just try my best to walk in the room and demand the respect that I think I deserve. And I feel like that's every person's obstacle, maybe even in life. It's just like everyone's going to look at you and they're going to decide what you're categorized or what you are. And it's our right to show them what we got. And just like, I feel like a lot of times, I mean, just like anyone, we don't truly know what knowledge they obtain. We just have what we're seeing. And so it's my position to voice, my inner thoughts and like create a presence and like leave a lasting impression. Do the best that I can. I don't know. It's tough.
You're doing a good impression on me. You are. No, I could tell that you're smart. You're a smart person. You're not some idiot who just, oh my God, like totally. I mean, that's not, you could do that for fun, I'm sure, but like you're not, but you have brains behind what's going on behind there. Like, it's hard. I know everything. I know a lot of things, especially now, are so image driven. It's just like we get it, and yes, it's important in some areas, but it's like you can't judge a book by its cover. You really can't. You have to get to know them a little bit and dig into what they're creating and seeing what they're creating, because you're writing this. It's something you're writing. I want to ask you, what is your writing process these days? I'm sure it's changed over the years, but what is your writing process these days?
I feel like it's always so many different ways, and sometimes it's hard for me to land on one, but right now it's like I'll write down a bunch of lyrics. I'll try to journal just to, get the words down, and then I'll have some people send me beats, and if I get sent a beat, I kind of just like hum top line and then like fit words to kind of like the melody that I've created. But then I'll also like, piano is, I feel like, one of my most efficient ways. Like if I get it down in chords and give it to somebody, I feel like those are always the songs that I like the most. But with COVID and everything, one of my big goals is to become a better producer. So that's kind of what I've been working on right now, like taking a sound from Splice or just like plugging in the piano, bass, maybe like a drum loop myself and working on stuff. So I kind of venture into all of them. Yeah, it's hard. It's funny because a lot of people, they're like, starting the idea is easy. It's finishing the idea. And it really is. That's the obstacle.
It is. I mean, there's times when I'll dream lyrics, or I'll be somewhere and all of a sudden a stanza will come to me, and so I write it down. And then all of a sudden the song may piece together, it's a song, but it's like, well, I need that last part. That's what you're stuck on. Mm-hmm. You get you get the chorus, you got this, everything's good, but you got to find a way to get to that third section. You're like, why is it taking me forever to figure that out? I don't understand what's going on. It's like, you're right, to actually finish the song. Like, just one last thing to finish the song.
I have many, many half-finished songs, but which ones need to be finished, and what lyrics. It's like the lyrics when you're walking around and you still sing it in your head days afterwards. Like, what guys, you're like, I gotta finish that one. That's it. Because if it sticks with you, it's like it'll probably stick with other people.
If somebody asked me, what was the fastest song you've done? I said, I remember I wrote a song in 20 minutes once. It doesn't happen all the time. It's just one of those things where it just, divine intervention came out of me. But I tell people, it doesn't always happen that way. Not like that. Not at all. That was one of those rare moments where it's kind of the whole concept, the melody, it all just kind of came to me. And I was like, I got my pen. Like, okay, I got to write it down. I mean, I just had to get it out. And it worked. They don't always work either. It worked. But most of my songs take some time. They're not usually in 20 minutes. I mean, they're not like so. I mean, on average for you, I mean, I have a notebook full of songs. I'm sure you do too. I mean, how would you say the range is for folks out there who don't really know songwriting? Like, they take you anywhere from like 3 or 4 days to 4 weeks to a month. Like, for you writing a song on average?
There's definitely been some that I've like been in a day. Like my next 2 songs were written in less than 3 hours. So this one was one of those that we sent it back and forth for a bit, and like he sent, because I laid down, so the first verse was the first thing, and then I hummed out the melody for the pre and the chorus, but I like knew I wanted to make it like very meaningful. So he gave me like the instrumental, and that's when I sat with it, the Galaxy Light, the notebook, and like really like thought through it. It can go anywhere from like 3 hours to like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Same here. Yeah.
It just depends sometimes. And I watched some interviews and stuff. Harry Styles talked about how it's like surfing. It's like you can be the best surfer and just not catch the right wave, or you can be like a super new surfer and you just catch it like right to the shore. You don't know. So you just got to write whatever you got and try to take it to where it goes.
True. I love that these songs take us on journeys. I love that. I love that they sometimes you think you know what you're writing sometimes, and then sometimes it turns out to be something else that's still great. You're like, oh, okay, we're going in that direction. Got it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot, I love creating. So I think I can tell you too. I just love the whole creative process.
Yeah, it definitely helps you learn more about yourself too. Because this song personally, it made me realize it's like when times are tough, it's like, why do I keep seeking like, like the guy who I talked to was like, why is that what I'm seeking right now? Like I'm literally working towards the dream. Like since I was 5, the dream. Why am I seeking this person? It's like, okay, so we have this innate thing to try to like go towards comfort during the tough times. I mean, kind of obvious, but it kind of pointing towards it's like we are the people we need. And it's like it kind of I don't know. And to some extent was like you're doing the dream, lock into the dream. Don't feel this need to go to this person. Like you just lock in and focus.
Yes, and folks, you have to focus when it comes to your dreams. Anything you try, you can't do it half-assed. You have to get in there and give it all you got. Give your blood, sweat, and tears, and and really go for it because this business is not for the faint of heart. It's not for people who just. I think I would try it. Maybe you can't. There's no maybes. There's no kinda, right?
Yeah, it's definitely it's like it's plan A. So many people are like it has to kind of be plan A and plan B is just like a far afterthought and you just got to figure it out when you get there. It's definitely a hustle, but the thing is I try to wonder what I would even do with my time if I wasn't chasing it, I'm just like what would I do? Just like I don't even know. It's such a part of my life and it feels all honestly fills all my time at this point, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. It is worth it. You are a talented artist. So Sadie. Thanks for being on the show. I'm so excited for the new single, and I'm gonna be following you now. You're gonna see my name pop up on all your social media, like promoting your stuff and cheering you on. I think I have a nice long future ahead of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time today talking to me and picking my brain on all these questions. It's been super fun.
It's my pleasure. This will be a first of many times. I'm gonna follow you throughout your career. You're gonna come back on many times as you're getting higher and higher. Don't forget me. Don't forget me.
Oh, you're so nice. I appreciate all the support and definitely I cannot forget. This has been awesome.
Very good. Now tell folks where they can find you and where they can find your single coming out. If you're watching this today, which is the 15th, it's out tomorrow. If you're watching this the 16th and on, it's out. Tell them where they can find it.
It's going to be on all platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, Deezer, wherever you listen, it's going to be there. In socials, I'm Sadie Cannon, though, THO. Cannon, like the medieval weapon, not the camera. Sadie Cannon, though. And that's on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, everything. You can find me.
I love that whole though. It's Sadie Cannon, though. Yes, I love that. I love that.
I appreciate it. Sadie Cannon was taken, so I was like, "Dang, we gotta switch it up." So,
I love it. Everybody, this is JLJ Media. I am the JLJ of JLJ Media. James Lott Jr. You can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms, including TikTok myself. On there also doing all kind of stuff. Apparently I'm some TikTok star. I don't know what's going on there. But I'm on there trying things, having a good time.
Anything could work.
I'll follow you. You follow me. I'll follow you. You'll follow me. You'll follow me back.
Yeah,
and it's so funny. And also, this is on the JLJ Media Network, my network. You can subscribe to it. It's down here somewhere. There's a red button. Go ahead and do that. And if you're listening to us by the podcast, we're on every streaming service you can think of. Like she said, Deezer, Spotify, Google, Apple, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. So go ahead and support her, support us, support each other, a community of content and creators and artists. Art is very important, folks. It is very important, especially these days. It's very important for our sanity. I know you agree. I know you agree with that. Please have a great day. Be safe and listen to some music.